at all 8 region wrestling tournaments as action's about to kick off on Wednesday night with the pre-quarterfinal rounds. Right now, we will take a look at the Region 6 tournament down at the shore at Pineveld Arena and on the campus of Toms River North. We're here with my main man, Joe Zadalis. Joe, toughest bracket in the state, potentially.
James, I think it's the toughest region in the shore, and so do the coaches who coach there. Some of the weight classes are 5 and 6 kids deep. We just think it might be a banner year for the shore. I know the record is 28 kids on a podium in a season, and I mean we're going to be in the 20s at the shore again. I mean some of the weight classes are so deep. 152 pounds, it took them 4 tries to get it seated right. 120 was so complicated, so many rounds that Doug Bauer, the state interpreter, had to seed that bracket. So I think it's going to be an incredibly physical and intense tournament, and that's going to be from 5 o'clock on Wednesday right through to the end, James.
Joe, we were talking off the air a second ago. It looks like the 170-pound bracket might be the toughest weight here at this region.
Well, it's one of them, and I'll tell you why. Zach Hertling is back in the mix here. Hertling was a 138-pounder the last time we saw him 2 years ago. Catastrophic knee injury last year. Now at 170, he's the top seed, which is interesting. The second seed is unbeaten Brett Donner, a third in the state place winner. The third seed is Kyle Wojcik from Brick, who 5-pointed and had Donner on his back in the district final. It is just a very, very deep weight class, and we think those 3 kids could be on the podium in Atlantic City in a week.
Another weight, Joe, 138 looks like it's going to be a real tough one.
You know, the top of the bracket is absolutely brutal, James. We're talking about Matt Russo, who has had a phenomenal year for Jackson Liberty. In all reality, a better year than his younger brother Michael at 126, who seems to get all the notoriety. The upper bracket also has Tim Hammond from Jackson in it. Chris Lindemann, a state place winner last year, is the 5th seed at 138. The number 2 guy there is Pat Mooney from Southern. It is an absolutely wide-open weight class, and again, just one of those where there is going to be grinding from Wednesday right through Saturday.
And speaking of grinding, 113, you got 2 kids that are probably in the state championship mix there.
I would tend to agree with you. Gianni Gion from Brick Memorial is a little bit shorter, a little bit more explosive, and a wild card. He's got a motor that never sits. He's the number 2 seed. At the top of the bracket is the very consistent, the very technically sound Sebastian Rivera of Christian Brothers Academy. He comes from a state championship family. His dad, Steve, was a state champion for Manalapan back in the 80s. He's a quality kid. Those 2 kids, James, they could be on that podium, maybe standing next to each other in Atlantic City on Sunday.
I guess, Joe, before we wrap this thing up, any last-minute notes, thoughts about this Region 6?
We have had no changes so far. Haven't been notified of any, so we expect things to go according to script. The other weight class we're anxious to see is heavyweight, James. You have Brody Graham and Nick Rivera. They comprise 2 of the top 3 in your individual rankings at 285. They're at opposite ends of the bracket. Brody Graham has won the last meeting. Nicky Rivera won the first. That should be a great match in itself. And again, you're talking about 2 kids who could be high on the podium in Atlantic City.
All right, that'll do it for us here with Region 6. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining us. Joe will be at Pineveld Arena on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We will have complete and comprehensive coverage here at NJCom of that region and all the other regions in the state as we take one step closer to next weekend championship Sunday in Atlantic City, and we'll see you next time.